Well, with 96% of the world's population outside the United States and 2/3 of the world's purchasing power outside our borders, it's no wonder companies are increasingly going global. That's why on Friday, October 28th, a seminar is being held in Tulsa to help potential exporters with a business strategy. Earlier, I caught up with the conference's keynote speaker, noted futurist Ed Barlow. So, Ed, when it comes to globalization, what's happening with international trade and international markets?
What is really important for this country to understand is that 50 years from now, we will not be the largest economy in the world. China probably will be. India may be second. What's happening out there is the rest of the world, all these billions of people that are out there that have been living in poverty and somewhat out of the mainstream, are now waking up to a capitalistic system, and they want a piece of it. And so what that means is, in the near term, competition, because we all of a sudden have companies around the world who can produce product that we used to produce, and they can bring it in here at cheaper prices. But what also is occurring is other people around the world are gaining disposable income that they can use to buy product, to improve their condition and their standard of living. In particular, in China, for example, China will have 1.5 billion people by 2025, and their middle class will be larger than the entire population of the United States. Within that middle class will be an upper class that will have spendable income that's out there for somebody to sell something to. So when you take a look at consumer markets are growing faster around the world than they are in the United States. So if I'm a company and I want to expand my business, it would behoove me to look seriously at the markets that are growing around the world and determining what I could make that they could use.
So how do we take that from step A to step B?
Okay. We've done it extensively in agriculture, and in particular, Oklahoma has done a lot to take advantage of these growing markets in agriculture. Now we need to look at other areas like pharmaceuticals, like consumer products, and learning how you can identify what it is those folks want to buy, how you can build those channels of distribution to sell to, and how you either determine you make it here and ship it over there, or you partner with somebody over there and make it over there and sell it to that market. So we need to learn about the markets, we need to learn about what the interest is in the market, and we need to learn the various modalities for being able to sell into those markets. Now, we've not been well educated in this country in foreign cultures and foreign languages and foreign interests. I mean, our primary focus has been our way and is the best way for everybody. So what we're going to need to do is spend some time listening and looking and understanding people that we know very little about. Secondly, we're going to need to build relationships, and in many countries, particularly Asia, it takes a long time to build relationships. You don't do it over a lunch like you might do it here in the United States. So we're going to need to build some partnerships, and I know Oklahoma has a Sister Cities program where they're beginning to try and do that. Thirdly, we need to find intermediaries over there, meaning locals, who we can work through in getting our products to market over there. And then lastly, we need to come to understand some of those technical, tactical details of currencies, the rules of regulatory environments, and we need to use our Oklahoma Department of Commerce technicians and work carefully with them to learn the various elementary protocols of doing business in places that we've never been to and have not understood very well. So it's a process of being open to the opportunities. It's a process of learning new competencies for our businesses. Something that's interesting also to know is that companies that export tend to pay higher wages than companies that don't. So if Oklahoma can increase the number of Oklahoma-based businesses that can make and sell product to the rest of the world, it can improve the income level for the folks who work with those businesses.
And I guess from a business perspective, numbers don't lie, demographics don't lie. We know that this is going to be the market that we're going to have to go for.
Let me give you an example. By year 2025, there'll be 1.5 billion people in China, 1.3 billion people in India, and only 338 million people in the United States. You start looking at those numbers, and you don't need a large percentage of the population in either India or China, and you've got a huge market, a market that's larger than the United States. In fact, there already is a market identified in India called Zippis. They're middle class. They're larger than the entire population of the United States. Now, that's just looking at Asia. I mean, you begin to look at, Eastern Europe and Latin South America, and the market opportunities are incredible. A company to watch that has stopped being threatened by the growth of global capitalism and is now positioning to sell into these markets is General Electric. And they're doing an incredible job of developing within GE and its various components. Increased awareness of the world, increased innovation to build and sell product into these emerging markets. With agriculture, it was kind of easy because it was base product. Somebody needs food, you give them a simple food product. And the other products, like things that people wear or technology that people use, it's a little more complicated, and we just have to learn a new way of doing business, and it starts with learning to listen to people who are different in terms of what they really want versus trying to sell them what we've had, thinking it's automatically what they should have or what they should want.
All right, Ed. Thank you very much.